Angry Aussie. Aussie. Angry Aussie. Angry.
And we are live. It is Tuesday, first live stream of the week. Monday's been my TV night, and I watched this will come up again and again in the live stream. Normally does. Watched the final episode of this season of The Expanse, and I finally got around to starting I May Destroy You, which everyone's been talking about for about a year, and it's really good. It's really tense. The terrible decisions we make when we're young. They're all pretty wild and wayward 20-somethings in the show. So a lot of millennial angst in this. They might be 30. I'm not sure. Actually, now I'm going to check. Now I'm going to check the age of the creator and lead in it. I May Destroy You. Is that for me?
Yeah.
A package. And I don't even know what it is. Oh, wait till there's more people and I'll do an opening of a package. I don't actually... Oh, I think I know what it is. Didn't feel like it. We'll see. So, I May Destroy You. Very highly rated by critics and audiences. So, Michaela Cole is the lead and the creator. That's right. The other show she had was called Chewing Gum. Now I want to watch that at some point. Born. She's 33. There you go. So, very millennial. Charles, 20s and even 30s is bad decision central. But, you got to live, man. You got to live. I know I've done a few things in my youth that they would have only had to turn out slightly differently for there to be serious injury or death. So, the way it goes. Charles, Chewing Gum is good. Okay, all right. I will have to watch Chewing Gum when I finish I May Destroy You. I think that's on Netflix. It's on something that I'm subscribed to. I think it's Netflix. And I'd often meant to watch it and just never got around to it. And now all the hype on I May Destroy You, and having watched, I think I watched 3 episodes because it's only half-hour episodes. Easy to watch a few. Definitely going to have to watch Chewing Gum. Hellion, hello to you, Kirsten, on this fine evening. It's on Netflix. Good. Okay. I thought I'd seen it there and was in my recommended for a very long time, and I never got around to watching it. But I'll probably watch it at some point. So many shows to watch. I tell you what, because I watched The Expanse and that's on Prime and the Amazon Prime Video. And when you watch that and they say, people who watch this also watched, Prime has much fucking weirder stuff than Netflix. Prime just, I don't know what back catalog they bought. And I think they've got a bigger server farm than Netflix does. And man, there is some wild shit on Prime. I mean, there seems to be lots of experimental and art house shorts and whatnot as well, which I might get into at some point. But they have really weird old shit. And like, particularly when you watch sci-fi, the related stuff that comes up in sci-fi, you get really cheesy Star Wars knockoffs from the 70s and 80s. But it goes right back to, they have really dodgy, low-budget sci-fi made from the 30s to the 50s. Like, I think they had those Saturday morning serials, and they've spliced them together into a film. So there is some really wild-looking stuff, like really campy stuff on Prime. Don't have enough time to watch 1,000th of it, but it's really weird just flicking through what's there. It's like, oh my god, look at that, look at that, look at that. They've got not just the rather disastrous David Lynch Dune movie. There's another adaptation where they have a version of Dune that William Hurt is Leto Atreides. I don't know if the Jodorowsky's Dune never got made, did it? Isn't that the whole thing? It's a concept. Or do you mean the documentary? You mean the documentary about Jodorowsky's Dune? I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because they've got this version of Dune that I didn't know about where William Hurt is Leto Atreides, and they've got what I suspect is a spectacularly bad version of Children of Dune that has Susan Sarandon and James McAvoy in it. And so basically A-list names in something that I didn't even realize had been made. And so I'm suspecting both the version of Dune that has William Hurt in it and the Children of Dune thing, I suspect they're both fucking terrible. Possibly in an enjoyable way, and possibly not. Possibly just terrible. Megalich, good evening to you, sir. Oh, no. Kirsten, a distillery in Perth, Tasmania caught on fire. I did not see that news. Man, that's your nightmare, isn't it? Because of the fucking flammables and explodables in the distillery. That's your nightmare, actually catching on fire. But, well, hopefully no one was hurt or not hurt badly. Well, now I want to look it up. Tasmania Distillery fire. It auto-completed. Man injured at fire at Adams Distillery. Man has been airlifted with serious injuries after a fire at a spirits distillery. Multiple fire crews trying to control the blaze at Perth near Launceston. Suffered partial and full thickness burns to his hands, face and legs. Fuck no. Ow. While he was mixing product using flammable liquid. Shite. Concentrated part of the burn was on his lower legs, then his hands, and a little bit to his face. Just saying he was conducting normal day-to-day operations. Oof. Oh, no, that's your nightmare. That's your nightmare right there. They're saying he was just mixing, just doing the normal shit, and who knows what went wrong, and that sounds fucking painful for the poor guy. So hopefully his recovery is not too fraught. Jesus, not good. Not good. I made a bit of a dark joke at someone today, a Facebook friend, who posted, and platitudes are a great way to get me to sort of respond and say, here's why what you posted is fucked. And it was, one of those supposedly inspirational things that said, that thing you're most afraid of, maybe you should do that. And so I just responded, what? I should be trapped in a house fire and burned to death? It's such dumb statements masquerading as deep statements really shit me. Do the thing you're most afraid of. The two colossal fears it's like the two things where people are most afraid is one where it's a legitimately bad thing that you don't want to happen, and two is where you have phobia, which may not be rational, but it's not a thing you can just do. So I didn't really rag on them, but I just went, yeah, that's dumb. Hey, Kelsey King. Was that Megaleech? Deepites? I'm not sure what that is. I mean, I get what you're referring to. It's not a word I've seen before. Yes. So now I want to open my mail. It's apparently just right. I think I know what it is. And if it is, it's a pity it didn't arrive earlier today, because I could have used it earlier today. Celtic King, I have not heard from AZ for a couple of days, which usually means he's not doing very well. Ooh, lots of bubble wrap. Pretty sure I know what's in here. Yes, it is. All right, unwrap. Unwrap another layer of bubble wrap. All right, and yes, as I did, this is a juicer that claims to be really good. And as I just did a bunch of juicing today, it's a real pity I didn't have it. There's a little removable thing to catch pith and whatnot. You put that in there, and you put your fruit in there, and you go squoosh, and then you're just meant to pour it out the side. Now, the ad made it look really good, and a couple of people on a cocktail forum said it was actually good. And because you can sit it on a table, so you can really brace it. Like if you really have to go to town, you can apply a bit of force, or you could just do it by hand as well. Wait, I have some oranges to juice. I could try that. I could juice some oranges and see how it goes. Maybe I will. That will make for really enthralling viewing. Celtic King, no, I have not had any random packages or letters recently. Such is life. Jonathan Job, Deepities. Is DT alive and kicking? There you go. That's Deepities. Deepities? I don't know what that is. Deeply meaning. A proposition that seems to be profound because it is actually logically ill-formed. It has at least two readings and balances precariously between them. One reading is true but trivial, another reading is false but would be earth-shattering if true. That's in the Wiktionary. Okay, so someone coined the term deepity. Deepity examples. Oh, okay, here's a Guardian column on deepities. What do they say? The other day, I met a young boy in the desert leading a goat by a string. We got to talking about the best-selling New Age author, Paulo Coelho. The wise are wise only because they love. There are no ends, only means. Okay, he doesn't like those sorts of things. Not they're wrong, they just sound like they might be right. But doesn't mean anything. Okay, so philosopher Daniel Dennett has a book called Intuition Pumped and Other Tools for Thinking. Because Dennett, although he doesn't mention Coelho, identifies the problem precisely. Many of these dreamy observations are what Dennett refers to in brilliant coinage deepities. So Jonathan Hub, Daniel Dennett, DD, there you go. Okay. A deepity isn't just any old pseudo-profound bit of drivel. It's a specific kind of statement that can be read two different ways. One way that's true but trivial, and another that's much more intriguing but false. The example Dennett quotes is, love is just a word. On the level of linguistics, of course it is. Hardly tells us much. On another level, it's pretty manifestly untrue. Only sounds deep because it teeters precariously between those two readings, exuding the whiff of a paradox. Once you've encountered the concept of deepities, you can't help see them everywhere, as in case of Sara, beauty's only skin deep. Okay. So, yes, I guess that phrase, you should do the thing that scares you most, would classify as a deepity. Batman Sport, good evening, sir. Oh yeah, Chaos King. What does Iaawyals? It's Angry Aussie with yet another live stream. It's just the kind of mood I was in when I set up the stream. I like the shirt too. It's one of a lot of shirts I got from T Fury. Then I kind of stopped for a while, and then I found out they went through a very bad phase of not fulfilling orders and getting a very bad reputation when I never had a problem with them. They seem to have a problem by coincidence in this period where I wasn't ordering shirts from them. I'm not sure if they got themselves back on the rails or not. So I'm not sure if I want to do it again. I worked at, like, this is obviously for, my cocktail stuff, squeezing things and making juices. So this would be good for things like grapes, because grapes would be a pain in the ass to juice, but I could just stick some grapes in there and crush them and get, ooh, grape juice. Actually, possibly this is how I can get fresh pineapple juice. If I chop up a fresh pineapple, I'm going to have to try that as an experiment. Can I get fresh pineapple juice out of that with any level of effectiveness? But that would really work, like for mangoes. Just squish some mango to get all the juice out. Did Mrs. Angry wander past the backyard? I did not see. But if you saw someone wander past, that's probably who it was. Charles, I could juice somebody's soul. I could trap a soul in there and squish it, by all means. See, I ordered 2 bits of bar equipment off Facebook ads, and I just worked out I've almost definitely been ripped off in one of them. This one arrived, so booyah. The other one was this cocktail shaker. It's like this sort of new style of cocktail shaker. It's advertised on Facebook all the time. But somehow I must have clicked on an ad that a bogus company had put there. I don't remember if it was on Facebook or somewhere else, but it's like I went and the price of the shaker was really good, and I ordered it. And I just kind of realized the other day, it was 2 months ago and I hadn't heard anything. And I found the email. Okay, there's my order confirmation. And I clicked on the link to the website and it doesn't exist anymore. Oh, that's a troubling sign. And then I went, because one of the reasons I thought of it is because the shaker still gets advertised to me on Facebook. And this was a Indiegogo crowdfunded thing that turned out to be hugely popular. So it's in production now. And I went, when I saw the ad on Facebook and clicked on it, it takes you to Indiegogo to purchase it. And it's also much more expensive than the one. Like, okay, I got ripped off. It was only for $20-something, which is hardly the end of the world. In terms of the principle, I'm quite pissed off. But still, out of all the things I've bought in lockdown, there's the only one I've been ripped off on. So nice, Charles. Given how you've seen me mince fools, their souls would be nice bite-sized pieces. Yeah, you could definitely fit them in there. Well, I'm glad I reminded you have a mango to eat, Kirsten. I'm probably going to get a couple of things and experiment with my juicer now, just because that seems like a thing to do. So yeah, as I said, I was juicing today, lemons and limes. Oh, shit. Watch out. Right, lemons and limes. I'm making an oleosaccharine. Yeah, interesting. Lemon and lime peel. I covered it in sugar earlier. Oh, how long ago? Maybe 6 hours ago? And it's already liquefied. The sugar is completely liquefied. That was just covered. It was like white sugar. And sugar, there's a technical term for what sugar does, but it leaches moisture out of things. So it leaches the oils out of the citrus peel and liquefies, goopy. And now the final step is I need to add a little bit of water. And then I'll have a nice citrusy sugar syrup for cocktails, which I need because I actually just ran out of sugar syrup the other day. I mean, I have some alternatives, but there's that. So, yes, that's called an oleosaccharine. And if you want to make your own, it's pretty easy. You peel your citrus, whatever citrus you want, and you weigh it, and then you put double that weight of sugar in, and then when it's done the liquefying thing, you add water the same weight as the peel. So, for instance, that was very close to 100 grams of peel. It was 90-something grams of peel. So, but if it was 100 grams of peel, you'd add 200 grams of sugar, wait for it to go syrupy, and then add 100 grams of 100 mils of hot water and dissolve the sugar fully and strain it. And then you've got a really nice sugar syrup. There's the other more complicated thing I do to make the cordial type things, where you, instead of adding the water, you add juice. And so then you get this sort of super sweetened juice that also has a bit of the sort of tartness and oil from the citrus, from the peel. But then you milk clarify that and you get this really clear stuff. And it's really zingy. It's like a really good, like sweet and sour cordial. It's really tasty. I've got some in the fridge. One's orange mandarin, and the other is lemon lime, and they're both really good. Mr. Grant Gregory, sir, hello. I had a reasonably good day. I hope you had a good day too. So that's what I was doing while I was bored with work. I had to read some stuff for work. So while I'm reading, I'm sitting there peeling citrus and then juicing it. So you got fresh juice. And then when I finished work, I was working on a cocktail video, doing the close-up of putting the ingredients in the mixing glass. You do slow-mo so it looks sexy as the drink splooshes in. Oh, you've got a delicious mango, Kirsten. Nice. The moment my beverage is just pineapple, coconut juice and lemonade, and it's really yummy. But I did make this after doing the close-up shots for a cocktail. See how clear it is. I didn't want to drink the cocktail, so I milk clarified it. And I messed around with it a bit. This is mostly rum, and for fun, it's like rum and fruit juice, basically. And then for fun, I put a very particular sort of vermouth in it called Punta Mez. And so that was basically opaque. Before I milk clarified it, it was basically opaque. It was really dark brown. And now the milk clarification, it's sort of light reddish brown, but it's quite clear, which is very nice. So and there's this one I made the other day, which is rum and red wine, basically. So they look very similar because their ingredients are very similar. He's treading on my bubble wrap. I got a package. So, yes, I haven't tried any of theirs. Yes, it's an amber color, Charles, definitely. So, yeah, I'm going to try at least one of those tonight. Might try both of them. Who knows? Fuckload of rum in those. But given it's balanced out by fruit juices and wine, which is not as high alcohol as the rum, of course, and the whey from the milk clarification, and not that alcoholic, but there's a few fucking like if I pour myself, and I'm going to pour myself something in my rocks glass with a big rock of ice in it. Certainly a couple of standard drinks. So I won't be driving anywhere tonight, just as a precaution. But yes, not planning on getting shit-faced. Can have a drink, though. Just like having a wine with dinner. Oh, yes, Kirsten. I have, in fact, watched the latest How to Drink episode, and I happened to see a live stream. It was a while ago. It was a couple of weeks ago, I think, because he recorded that a long time ago, and we admitted that he basically had a hospital visit, I think. Not, he said it wasn't actually alcohol poisoning. It's just very sick. I wanted to talk about this. Thank you for bringing it up, Kirsten. How to Drink is probably the biggest purely cocktail channel on YouTube. A guy called Greg runs it. An American. I think he's around New York or New Jersey. And anywho, he when he was making a Vespa Martini a while back, he did this thing with a matrix of different gins and different vermouths and how different are they. And he decided to make this really elaborate one for Manhattans. And he had 7 whiskeys, mostly, I think, all rye whiskeys, mostly or all rye whiskeys. I think they're all rye whiskeys. 7 whiskeys and 6 vermouths. And then he made Manhattans in a matrix and compared the and he thought, what's the problem, right? I'm only going to have a sip. But as he pointed out, that was 42 drinks. And how much is a sip? And, I think he was taking some healthy sips. But he said, like, even if he only drank half an ounce of each, and he probably drank more, but at half an ounce with 42 drinks, you're still drinking over 20 ounces. And that's like a 750 ml bottle of spirits is only about, 750 ml bottle of anything is about 25 ounces. So basically he was shit-faced drunk, absolutely shit-faced drunk. And there's one of those pseudo-reality shows on TV called Seconds from Disaster. It's where they recreate or, investigate things that could have gone really wrong. It's called Seconds from Disaster. Basically, for particularly the second half of the video, it looked like Greg was seconds from disaster. the whole time. He didn't knock anything over. He almost did multiple times. He almost knocked shit over multiple times. And he didn't by some miracle. But yeah, he got absolutely shit-faced drunk. And if I remember rightly, in the live stream, he did admit that this ended up with a hospital visit. So yeah, he just said, like, in retrospect, it's really stupid. 42 drinks and just taking a sippy sip. And he said he wants to do this sort of thing again in the future, but he's going to have a spit bucket like they do at wine tastings, because that way he'd still be able to taste. It wouldn't be a completely natural process, but he could taste the cocktails, swirl them around his mouth a little bit, and spit them out. That's not a really natural drinking experience with cocktails, but it's the way he could taste all of them and not get paralytic, which he fucking did. Oof. It's just a little miscalculation. It's funny. It's like he's saying that, like, because he put a disclaimer up the front of the video saying this was a really bad idea, and it's like, yeah, live and learn. It's like, but man, it's just like this array, like 42, and I'm intrigued as to what he did with them afterwards. Because what are you going to do with 40? And that's quite expensive. 42 drinks. That's a real investment. I mean, I know what I would have done. I would have done this, and it would have taken a while. Because if you mix them all into one big thing and then dipped into it occasionally, it'd be this somewhat murky melange that would not be, in all probability, as satisfying as having any one of them individually. And then I would have milk clarified them, because then you have a whole new, different, interesting thing. I'm intrigued as to what he did. Yes, Megaleech, that would be the trouble if doing the mouth swirlies got him drunk enough to neck the spit bucket afterwards. Charles, yeah, I don't know. It sounds like you're quite familiar with him. I don't know what his crew is. Oh, and I suppose I should point out for anyone on YouTube wondering who I'm talking to, Charles is watching on Facebook. I am not particularly familiar with his setup, so I don't know what crew is there. So yeah, I don't know what the story there would be. Because I always share my drinks with my crew, i.e. me. I drink all of them. So I'm my crew, which would explain a lot. I think I'm going to put that one into a little bottle so it's more manageable. And I think I have a spare bottle. Stretch legs. That's it. That's it. Yeah, put it in a different one so I don't get them confused. One of the tiny bear bottles. A bit of ASMR. Yeah, that smells right. Didn't leave anything in there to ferment. That's good. Got the curds in there. Just save because they go in desserts. Looking very brune. Ooh, judged it just about perfectly. Perfect. It's got to be perfect. That's neatly bottled. So glad I got these. Well, I'm glad I got the little sample bottles because the stuff that was in them that I sampled was very yummy. But I kept the bottles because they're very useful. Always making little concoctions and putting them in them. So Charles, he mentioned it in an older video. He's answering questions. You don't drink much, but how to drink is great to watch. Greg is a very good presenter. His videos are always interesting, even if I'm not into the drink he's doing. So I'm going to get me a glass. Treading on bubble wrap. Ugh. And I'm just going to be grotty and swap a bit of ice from there to there because I can't be bothered going to the... Yes, Kirsten, Tiny Bear were my first Aussie gins. And this was from Oka, the Applewood Distillery. And I got their Negroni Week batch. I mean, honestly, if they do that again, I'll probably get it again because like their Oka Island Bitter, which is a Campari substitute, is still too bitter for me. It tastes way better than Campari, but is still too bitter for me. But I could put just a really small amount, like 5 mils in a drink to get thing. So this is from my cocktail that went up on Monday, yesterday. What do we call it? It was called Dunderstruck because dundery is apparently a somewhat archaic word to describe the sort of funky flavors you get in pot still rums. And so the recipe was use 1 ounce of overproof pot still rum. And I happen to have an Australian overproof pot still rum from Inner Circle, 75% alcohol. Yeehaw. And so I used that. And that's also what's in this, but it's a different combo of stuff. So what was actually in the Dunderstruck? Diffords. So it was a rum, Aperol, and strawberry syrup and pineapple juice. And I might put a dash of absinthe in. And then I put this red wine blend that a friend gave me just for fun. Just for fun. Oh, wow, that's good. That's really good. Oh, man, the flavors. It's like this, the wine's what you notice most is very fruity. And then right at the end, there's this almost smoky characteristic, which I'm pretty sure is from the rum. Yes, it's got a really distinct smoky element, just a light smoky element as it goes down. I'm almost sure that comes from the rum. But wow, it's a wild flavor. It's kind of like the red wine makes it taste kind of like sangria, which hardly surprising. What's sangria? It's red wine and fruit, basically. And what's this got? It's got pineapple juice and red wine in it. So it's not surprising that it's reminiscent of sangria. It's got these really sort of rich flavors in there. And Yeah, the smokiness at the end is actually a little bit of a surprise, a pleasant surprise. I like it when there's, layers of taste in something. It's kind of why, I get into some of the boozier cocktails, rather than just making stuff that's vodka and fruit juice. And I'm ragging on people who drink vodka and fruit juice. I am. I'm a snob. Have to admit it. Drink you enjoy drinking, and I try to not be overly judgy on people. But if your idea of quality cocktail is a cosmopolitan, you need to fucking sort your life out, or worse, something like Sex on the Beach or something, those silly 80s ones. Oof, that's good. That is good. Like when I do the milk clarification, they're always at least interesting. They're not always great. Like something like, okay, that's really weird what that's done. Well, it's interesting. This one's good. They're always interesting. They're usually good. This one's good. Possibly my favorite is a zombie clarified with coconut milk, because you put cream of coconut in a lot of tropical drinks, and so basically either a clarified pina colada, which has the coconut and pineapple in it, or a zombie, which is just like a fuckload of rums, clarified with coconut milk. They're probably a clarified pina colada is so fucking good. It's just really good. It just brings out different characteristics of the rum and the fruit that's in it. It's like you think it's really simple. It's like, well, it's pina colada. It's like coconut and pineapple and rum. Yeah, basically. And you definitely don't lose the essential character of a pina colada when you clarify it. But it's different. It sort of brings out different elements of the flavor, which is nice. Oh, nice. Kirsten, you got an award for world's best vodka. And the award is very heavy, I assume, rather than the emotions are very heavy. Yes, Charles, that's fair. Sex on the Beach is a shot you drink at a bachelor or bachelorette party, wishing they had better taste. Yep. So, though mind you, the how to drink thing with the Manhattans that Kirsten mentioned that I was talking about, I had never considered making a Manhattan with Punta Mez, which is a really, to my mind, I always saw it as it's like a really specialized like Italian vermouth, quite different to other vermouths. I'd never really considered using it in a Manhattan, but Greg used it in a Manhattan and to good effect apparently. So now I'm really keen to make a Manhattan with Punta Mez. Wow, I'm just really fascinated by the smoky element in that, because the unclarified drink did not really have a smoky character to it. It's a very interesting balance because there was this overproof rum and a lot of pineapple juice and the bitter aperitivo, and you could feel those different flavors. There's like the sweetness from the syrup and the pineapple, and the dundery flavor from the overproof rum, and just the little bitter notes from the Aperol. And there's a very interesting balance and contrast to the flavors, and this just tastes totally different. It's got these deep sort of fruity flavors because I added red wine to it, so of course it's different because the other one didn't have red wine in it. But this smoky thing, which I think is coming from the rum, was not in the original version at all. Quite fascinated. Yes, yes, as Kirsten says, it's where she works, but it's still pretty cool. World's best vodka. Don't use a lot of vodka myself, so although as I was showing off in the other stream, I have infused some vodka for some future drinks. So I now have raspberry vodka and coconut vodka. It's like a caramel coconut vodka, which I did make a drink with the other night. Gotta do something more with that. Try it and some other things, I think. Like maybe substitute it put it in place of white rum in put it in place of white rum in a drink that has coconut in it. Or the obvious thing is something that recommends Malibu, or a coconut liqueur. Oh, Charles, tamarind infused vodka. That would be really good. As you say, sweet and tangy and delicious. Tamarind would probably imbue a very good flavor in vodka, and you could make some really interesting drinks with it, I think. That's where vodka comes into its own, because, neutral spirit, although, there are vodkas and vodkas and they do taste different. But because it's like a blank palette for you to put other flavors on top of, and like in the lazy way, that's like a cosmopolitan. You do vodka and cranberry, so it just tastes like cranberry juice but gets you drunk, or Sex on the Beach, it tastes like fruit juice but gets you drunk. That's your goal, that's what you do. But you can do much more interesting stuff if you put more interesting flavors in the vodka. So there's these Filipino sweets. I forget what they're called, but it's basically tamarind pulp, and they tend to actually then wrap it around the seed from a tamarind. And sometimes they roll them in sugar, and sometimes they roll them in salt. But yeah, because they got that tangy, sour tamarind taste, and with sugar, we used to call them nature's warheads, because like those artificial sour lollies, tamarind does that naturally. So it's cool. Yes. I agree. I wish my workplace was winning vodka awards as well. But maybe one day. At the moment, not much in the way of vodka distillation going on in my workplace. Possibly a bit of vodka drinking. I don't judge. I don't know what people have in their bottom drawer. Of course, now everyone's at home and has been for a year, and we're just thinking of going back to the offices now. I can't see myself going back to the office inside of a couple months, honestly, because I don't want to. So just wait till someone says you have to. Yeah, Charles, if they do tamarind candies from Vietnam, probably very similar. These ones in the Philippines, they're like handmade. They're not factory made. They're not in any sort of neat packaging. It'd be, like I said, they'd be these little balls, because they tend to wrap them around, mold this tamarind pulp around the seed. So you have to be careful not to eat the seed. And Yeah, put a bunch of them in a clear cellophane and tie it off, and there you go. Shannon, hello. Good to see you, sir. We're just talking vodka infusions at the moment. Tamarind. Yes, Kirsten. Fun job, but still work. And yes, there's something fun in being able to say, we won a vodka award. We won a whiskey award. We won a gin award. So I was like, you've been drowning in pina colada lately. Sneak some to work in a flask. Oh, that's a bit over the top, man. Justin, you've been working from home for about a year. Yes, the lease ran out on the office. You work for the government. Yeah, I'm working for a government department as well. So I've been home for a year. Oh, nice. Shannon, you having a go at making gnocchi from leftover mashed potato. Cool. Cool. I've never tried to make gnocchi, so good luck with that. Ugh, no, Celtic King, not a vodka taste tester. No, ew. Cocktail recipe tester, yes. Whiskey taster, yes. Gin taster, yes. Although, I'm not a mad gin aficionado, so I wouldn't be the right person for the job. But vodka, ew, no. Abigail would want to be vodka taste tester. So to each their own, I say. Oh, all right. Oh, a bit of ice. I'll drink some water after this. That's a radical idea, isn't it? Yes, the good question, Kirsten. What is leftover mashed potatoes? I tend to not leave any mashed potatoes as well. That's interesting, Justin. Working from home, not because of COVID-19. Because for me, it's very much COVID-19. Oh, God, Charles, that's horribly accurate. Tasting notes from a vodka taster. Oh, yes. Tastes like a depressed Baltic man's sweat. Lovely. That's depressingly accurate. And Abigail isn't here to get angry at us for dissing vodka, so we can get away with it. Right. Taste my other concoction. Sneakers, you can't see the subtlety, but because of when you do the clarification with milk, separates into curds and whey. Curd stays in the filter. The whey is actually added to your drink, which has a thicker consistency, so it changes the consistency of the drink. And you can basically see the thicker stuff swirling around in it when you agitate the drink. So it's not just a taste thing, it's a physical thing. Wow. Man, this is so much brighter and lighter than the other one. It's really weird. They look reasonably similar. It's very hard to tell them apart. Both got a base of rum and fruit juices. The one I was drinking before had a red wine blend in it. And this one had a vermouth, so a fortified wine, an aromatized wine, Punta Mez. And I kind of expected this to taste heavier, but wow, it's really bright. Oh my God, it's good. But it's so much. The other one was good, and this one is good in different ways. So much brighter and lighter. I still got really late on the palate. It's got that smokiness, which is, I think, that kind of seals that it's definitely a characteristic of the rum. I say, Kirsten, the people who taste the barrels say it's horrible when you get a run of unripe or out of spec whiskey. I imagine it would be very disappointing. Yeah. If you're tasting it and it's just the wrong time for it. Charles, if you need someone to talk wild, spicy shit, plus fuck frankly from their butt, you're the man. Excellent. And no, Celtic King, I do not like beer at all. Like, can't tolerate beer. Do not drink beer at all. It's gross. Justin, you're set to return to the office next month. Limits on the new office probably mean you're going to continue working from home. Yeah, this and next month, they're easing into the city office for us, thinking about maybe 25% capacity. And I'm like, cool, I don't want to fucking go anyway. Let other people go in. I'm sure there's 25% of the workforce who want to go back in the office. I don't. I really don't. So I'll say let someone else do it. Was it the Homer Simpson thing? Can't someone else do it? What does that taste like? It's like almost. Oh, that would be the Punta Mez. It's got that vermouth's got like a cherry sort of taste, sweet vermouth. Yeah, and it still has that little bit of smokiness at the end. Really surprised with how sort of bright and sharp the flavor on that is. Like this one has the fruitiness of a wine sort of flavor in it. Whereas this one is like really bright and sharp, like cherries. What I love playing with this milk clarification because you never know what's going to happen. It's always wild. Oh, Justin, the no commute fucking rules. And yes, I enjoy having a bit of a sleep in when I was working in the office because I like to get in early so I can leave early. So I had an alarm set for 6:30, get straight out of bed, have a really quick shower, get to the station, get to work. And I'd get to work by, all things being equal, somewhere between 7:30 and 8. 7:30 on good days, closer to 8 on bad days, because you know what public transport's like. And that was like rushing, so it'd take me, it's an hour and a bit from bed to work, a bit frantic. Now I've got the alarm set for 7. So I just lie in bed for a while. Just, does anything happen in the news? Does anyone post anything fun to Facebook? No. And I'll just slowly get up and start my work computer at about 7:30 and see what's what. Okay, Celtic King is obviously heaps of people like beer. For me, it's just like a huge fucking no. Exactly, Charles. I usually don't get out of my pajamas till lunchtime. So I'm assuming pajamas are acceptable office wear when we have to go back to the office because I don't want to change. So we'll see. We'll see what the powers that be say because I'm pretty keen to keep pajamas as a work thing. I mean, I'm joking, obviously, but because they're not going to do that. But I think everyone's going to be way more fucking casual. I think everyone's going to be way more casual at work. But who knows what? Charles, if not set the office copy or on fire. Well, that's the thing, of course, because everyone at home meant paper consumption, like use of the copiers and printers, dropped to 0. And they were looking at it and going, oh my God, do you know we were printing like 1 million sheets of paper a month? And that has literally dropped to 0. And do you realize how much better for the environment that is? And it's just like, holy fuck. And people are going to fall straight back into bad habits of printing everything when they get back to the office, I'm sure. But seriously, from going from 1 million sheets of paper a month to 0, that's fucking huge. Which again, it's actually the paper companies. It's got to be fucking them up. Everyone who sells office supplies. Well, not so much pens and stuff because everyone has to buy their pens and stuff. But I think like printer paper places, printer toner places, their budget probably got fucking nuked in the last year. You know, they'd be just like absolutely consistent bottom line, like we always sell this much paper, this much toner. It's fucking, we know exactly, and then it just went ka-chunch. That would have been a bit rough. Justin, you've been in meetings naked with your camera off. I have my camera off almost all the time. I think I've mentioned on the live streams, I did make the mistake once of accidentally switching the camera on when I was wearing my dressing gown, and the team have not let me live it down. But that's okay. I agree. Culture King workplaces should be casual. I haven't had to wear a tie in an office for a long time. There's a period where I had to wear a tie in an office, which sucked. That's why I've got all those ties I wear when I'm making cocktails from the 90s when I had to wear a tie in the office. I think a lot of people are going to cut back massively on their office space. That's weird. Someone who's not in my address book texted me, possibly my brother. Possibly a wrong number. Hey, Safa. Oh, you've been the first hour, but, you know, we keep going. Oh, yes, Charles. What kills more industries, millennials or pandemics? I'm going to go with pandemics. Some industries have gone better. It is my sister. It was weird when they said brother. I automatically thought it was one of my brothers, not my sister. That was a really weird mental thing. Justin, would I consider a job in another state if I can work from home? Only if I can work from home 100% of the time. I mean, I've gotten so used to working remotely. If someone was up for it, I'd be quite confident in my ability to, you know, work for a Sydney-based job and just be at home all the time. But yeah, I'm not moving home for a job. So family is a bit more important than a job. Yeah, it probably depends how open an employer is to me being in another state and working from home. And I know some are completely on board with it. So who knows? Who knows what will happen? I've got a current contract till the end of June. Might get extended. They might even offer me a permanent job, which I'd consider. They might say, oh, would you want a fixed term contract? Which I'd say, fuck no, because if you're unfamiliar with it, a fixed term position is the worst of both worlds. You're paid permanent rates, but you don't have job security, like it's for 6 months or 12 months and then you're gone. It's like, no, if you're going to keep me for a limited amount of time, 6 or 12 months, you're going to pay me contract rates, okay? If you're going to pay me permanent rates, it's because you're giving me a permanent job. And they say, oh, but you get paid holidays and get fucked. No. Absolutely not. Kirsten, you're having an AFD today because it was work party yesterday and your head still hurts. Oh my God. Distillery work parties must be fucking intense. Safa, that's an interesting point. Should workplaces pitch in for extra electricity used for working hours? Because they do. Yeah, Safa, the fixed term thing is most common in the public service, but some private sector people do it too. It's fucking bullshit. I'm going to say, if I know what I'm worth as a contractor, and I know what I'm worth as a permanent employee. And you're not going to fuck me around by saying, I'm going to pay you a permanent rate, but not give you a permanent job. How about fuck your mother? That sort of thing. Justin, if you moved back to Melbourne, got a job in government, became co-worker, man, it could happen. It could happen. Government's a weird place. And there are some big fucking departments. I'm not in the biggest department, although I think Dan was talking about breaking up the biggest department, which makes sense. Human Services, Department of Human Services, is fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely huge and sprawling and covers a whole bunch of completely unrelated things like health and housing. It's fucking weird. I worked for DHS a while back. That's interesting. My sister wants a T-shirt design. I'm going to search. She wants, that evolution picture that goes, chimp, Neanderthal, Homo sapien, modern person. She wants the last one to be Freddie Mercury, with a arm in the air pose. Sounds like something you could find online. If I go evolution of Freddie Mercury images. Yes, I fucking found it. All right. Wait a sec. I got a info. Info. Add to existing contact. Update. See, I'm fucking doing shit. Safa, could you do my job in the bush? Well, government departments have branches in the bush, definitely. Oh, Jesus, Kirsten, imagine the bartender when 60 distillery people walk in, drain their gin reserves. Good God. Right. Ah, shit. No. Shit. Fuck. Okay, so I found the thing my sister wants. No, photo. I'm trying to send her a photo. Good God, what's going on here? What's wrong with my phone? Add. Jesus. All right, I'm just helping out my sister momentarily. Hey, Locust Trooper. Charles, gin tastes like the time you almost died. Gin's definitely an acquired taste. Kilter King, I saw you were watching the old videos. Got a nostalgia hit from watching a few soon after the mask days. I did like that one you commented on. Oh, this is weird saying I liked my own video, but I did like the one where I was complaining about the fucking charity muggers. So I'm just helping my sister with this. All right, so I'm just helping my sister, who's a mad Queen fan, find a T-shirt design. Ah, there you go. I've done that. I've done my brotherly duty, helping out the fam. Safa, did I like Samsung on Facebook, or is that false Facebook advertising? That's a weird question. Does something say I like Samsung? If I did it accidentally. I often do stuff accidentally, so who knows? Oh. All right, that's my sister replying. So hopefully I've just helped my sister. My little brother. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like Samsung. Like, I don't like Samsung. I have no opinion of Samsung. I do not own any Samsung products. So if it's I like Samsung, I fucking did it accidentally. Maybe it was a competition. I don't know. Or maybe Facebook's fucking lying. Bastards. All right, oh yeah. I think I should drink some water before bedtime. I might feel better if I hydrated. I don't feel bad, but you know, get some ice from my ice. I like really cold water, so I'm just going to put a fuck ton of ice in my glass and go for my water dispenser in my flash new fridge that has a water dispenser. All right. Water. Man needs hydration. Okay, Strip, what happened with my sister? She wanted me to help her find a T-shirt design that had that evolution thing of like various cavemen to modern man, but the last one being Freddie Mercury. Charles, I don't see it would be bad for the environment if we set Facebook's server farms on fire because they have big server farms and that would cause a lot of toxic things. If we just fueled Facebook's server farms with dirt, that would be good for the economy. And certainly, as you say, good for global mental health. I am such a fucking hypocrite because I use Facebook all the time, but I admit that Facebook is basically terrible for the world. Look, it's true. When I last time saw my sister, I haven't seen any of my family for years because I have to travel so far to see any of them. So I don't do it. Maybe my mum's funeral. I don't know. It was a few years ago. That was probably the last time. Yeah, it's so far to go. So it's, oh no, I think I did see one of my sisters a couple of years ago. She visited Melbourne. So I took her and her husband out to a couple places while they were here. But yeah, that particular sister, I do try and call occasionally because I don't actually see family members very often because they're so fucking far away. Kirsten, you haven't done a back post double crochet in ages and it's hard. And yes, Abigail would understand the struggle. My response to your thing is, well, I recognize some of those words. Yes. I do not actually understand the sentence as a whole. I can understand it in the abstract, but in the concrete, I have no idea what a back post double crochet is. But I get that it's something to do with crochet and it's hard. So I understand the concept. I understand the concept you share with us. Well, I'm really happy with these two clarified cocktails. Got one more to go because I got one more to put up this week. I have to shoot the close-ups for it. I like to get ready ahead of time. So I did all the editing of that video today. It doesn't go live till tomorrow night. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, kids. Fucking subscribe to Angry Cocktails if you haven't already. Trying to get, psychologically, if I get to 200 subscribers this month, I'll feel happy. And it's at 175 now. So if you're not subscribed, go and subscribe. Assuming you're actually interested in cocktail content, that is. Celtic King, you have a mate in Melbourne. Mum moved to Sydney. They don't see each other too often. 2 of his 3 siblings live in Melbourne. Well, I don't have the parent guilt because, like Batman slapping Robin, both my parents are dead. But I have siblings, and I do not see them very often. C'est la vie. Oh, yeah, Charles, I agree. Crochet is definitely more difficult than it looks. So, yeah, I also give props to Kirsten for doing the difficult shit. But yeah, is that still the huge rug, Kirsten, or is it another thing? I was like massively impressed by the huge thing that you were crocheting at one point. I know Abigail was crocheting some baby stuff at one point. That shit gets really fiddly, doing stuff in baby size is a thing. There you go, Kirsten. You have mum in Western Australia, sibling in Melbourne, and you've moved to Sydney recently. Alexander, you were number 177, were you? Excellent work, my man. Excellent work. No, Safa, I actually didn't do crochet in high school. I am old enough that they would have regarded that as strange and, well, let's be honest, homosexual. If they had boys doing knitting or crochet at high school, would have been frowned upon as weird and gay. So we just did ballroom dancing. It's not ballroom. It's fucking country square dancing, basically. Kirsten, you are making baby booties because a bunch of people you know got preggers on purpose. Slightly better than getting pregnant not on purpose. That's the thing. If either of my offspring ever ask the awkward question, I can say honestly, no, you were both planned. It was very specific. We had very specific plans to have bebés, and you came into being pretty much exactly on schedule. Whereas in my family, my parents were just Catholics who were just fucking a lot, and so we had 10 kids. Because they didn't use contraception because they're Catholics. And that's the way it goes. Do I still remember all the lyrics to Every Sperm is Sacred? Mostly I do. The old Monty Python song from The Meaning of Life. There are Jews in the world, there are Buddhists, there are Hindus and Mormons, and then there are those who follow Mohammed, but I've never been one of them. I'm a Roman Catholic, have been since before I was born. The one thing they say about Catholics is they'll take you as soon as you're warm. You don't have to be a 6-footer. You don't have to have a great brain. You don't have to have any clothes on. You're a Catholic the moment Dad came, because every sperm is sacred. Every sperm is good. Every sperm is needed in your neighborhood. Every sperm is sacred. Every sperm is great. If a sperm is wasted, God gets quite irate. There you go. All those years later, I still remember every sperm is sacred. Apologies for subjecting you to my singing voice. Yes, Charles, there were 10 of us, and we were not the biggest family. There were a couple, and this was a small country town. Like when I grew up, the town population was about 20,000. It's much bigger now. Well, much bigger. It's like 50,000. Let's look it up. What's Dubbo's population? Dubbo population 34,000. So I think in my youth, Dubbo went from like about 15 to 20,000 people, and now it's 35,000 people. And so in quite a small town, we were not the biggest family. There were a few of the Catholic families that had 8 to 10 kids. I think the biggest family had 12 kids. And the joke was that the dad in that, and this is not, the dad actually was a pharmacist. And so the joke was that, I guess what you can't buy at his pharmacy, condoms. It's a laugh, isn't it? Yeah, Safa, Albury Wodonga is much bigger than Dubbo. And I think Wagga Wagga is bigger than... What's Wagga Wagga? Wagga population. Yeah, Wagga's 56,000. Wagga's way bigger than Dubbo. But because Dubbo's like in the middle of nowhere, and there's nothing but really tiny towns for 100 miles in any direction. So basically everyone who lives for like 100 kilometers and around shops in Dubbo. So it's like, we remember that discussion in economics at school. It's kind of like, Dubbo's population is 20,000, but the shopping population of Dubbo is like 100,000, because it's like every little town for 100 kilometers, because they're fucking tiny and got fuck all, they come to Dubbo to shop. So Dubbo's shopping centre was much bigger and more vibrant than you would expect from a town of, well, now it's 35,000. It's because it caters to this really expanded population. Charles, you thought your uncle had a platoon of children. He's a Rastafarian. All right, that's fair. Celtic King, you and Toby keep finding religious tracts, local payphones. Oh, do you get the Jack Chick tracts? They are the all-time best religious propaganda ever. You can find them online. Chick tracts, CHICK, tracts, TRACTS. They're fucking hilarious. They're absolute. And the thing is, they're absolutely sincere and they're deranged. Oh yeah, no, Kirsten, Jesus, the idea how did we survive? Because we were dirt fucking poor for a start. But just how my mum functioned, I don't know. Like my mum was literally doing, like, every day she had to do the amount of laundry that I have to do every week. And she had this thing about ironing everything as well. So she was just constantly doing laundry. And then she'd have the ironing board set up in the lounge room in the evening and be watching TV and just ironing like for hours every night. It's fucking hell. I don't know. How none of us died, I will never know. Because they would forget about us occasionally. Didn't know where we were. Because there were too many of us to keep track of. Safa was church complementary at high school. I went to Catholic school up to year 10. There was not there literally was a church attached to my primary school. High school was not near the church. But we did have a chapel at the high school, so we would have chapel services sometimes. Was it compulsory? The school can't force you to go to church, but they were constantly, particularly in primary school, trying to make you. But I lived across the road from a church, a small church, so I couldn't get away from it. I never had a choice. My parents made me go to church. So the school didn't make it compulsory because they can't, but my parents did. Celtic King, you and Toby are saving other people from the religious bullshit. Yeah, well, Toby likes to read them. Well and good, man. Well and fucking good. But yes. Safi, your school forced everyone in the 90s and noughties. Well, yeah, boarding schools could force people. I don't know if you were at a boarding school, but I know boarding schools could force people to go to church. But, Catholics, services on Sunday. You're not at school at Sunday. But, yeah, they would occasionally have these chapel services at school we have to go to. But, yes, Sunday Mass, you're always sort of coerced into going, but they couldn't actually make you. I love that, Kirsten. You remember moving out of home and not wearing dresses or skirts to church. You wild, reckless individual, you. Yes, it's a bit weird. All right, so if you were just at Catholic school, but they were really big on making you go to church. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, mine just realized they couldn't force you. They very strongly encouraged you to go to church, but they had no way of knowing whether or not you went because there were different parishes about. So, they didn't know which parish you went to. Guess you go when you're home for Easter, Christmas. Yeah, I don't even do that anymore. Although I do remember one time going, and I thought the priest was pretty funny when he's giving his sermon about this special time of the year, Christmas, and I know there'll be people here tonight, and this will be the first time you've been in the church this year. I welcome you all. I look forward to welcoming you all again next Christmas as well. It'll be the next time I see you. That got a laugh. So, yeah. Oh, Celtic King heading off. Thanks for dropping in, man. Water was a good idea. Hydration before bedtime. It's only Tuesday. I don't want to, despite how nice those drinks are, and despite the fact there's a bunch of other drinks I'd like to mix. It's Tuesday. Let's be a bit responsible. It's Tuesday. Don't want to go absolutely crazy on a Tuesday. So, Charles, church you went to when you were little, before parents gave up on making us go to church, was near a forest. And your brother and yourself would fuck off into the forest, listen to music, chill, miss all the weird eating the body of Christ shit. One of my favorite things, my family, we used to have a family holiday in the August, September school holidays because that was a cheaper time. It was much more expensive to go over Christmas, and we were fucking white trash, big family. It's too expensive to take us all on holiday at peak time, so we'd go in August, September, which was where you'd get some good weather, but there'd also be some really fucking cold weather. Like there are photos of me on the beach as a toddler, and I'm fucking wearing winter woolies because we're going to the beach just because we're going to the beach, god damn it. But it was really cold. I'm literally wearing winter woolies on a beach. It's ridiculous. But when and of course it varied how many of us would go depending the ages of various things. But I remember my dad borrowed a little bus. You'd call them a people mover now. We called it a bus. It was a make that doesn't exist anymore, called a Commer, I think, Commer. Anyway, it was from the Police Boys Club or something. And but it had some community thing on the side. And so they had us all piled into it because you could fit like 8 kids in this bus, and they sort of took us down to. We're in this coastal holiday town, and they took us into mass on Sunday in this bus that was clearly from some community group, and the people congratulated my parents, thinking they were some civic-minded people who were taking a bunch of orphans to church. They thought we'd all been picked up from an orphanage and taken, and they were like, no, they're all ours. And the people were like, oh shit, really? That many? Okay, cool. Goes to where you're walking around shopping for your nieces at Christmas, said to husband, this is a nice church dress, and realized what you said. Neither of the nieces or their families go to church. Well, it's a party dress then. So if your parents never made you go to church, but you did when you were at a friend's place working, that'd be weird. Charles, you'll say this for growing up poor, having experience of poverty. Shit builds character and resilience. People born into money just don't have. I think people born into money are at really high risk of being severely fucked up. Not that I have sympathy for them, but I think it's like celebrity children and rich children don't experience normal life. And I think the risk of them being fucked up by it is really high. I mean, it's still on them, but and it's like, oh, boo-hoo, poor you, you're extremely privileged. But yeah, no, I think the rich and privileged are at very high risk of being really fucked up. Grown-up white trash sucks, though. Stuff you grew up in Ukraine in the 90s, super poor. Ukraine has fucking always done it tough, though. Jesus Christ. Is Russia ever going to leave Ukraine alone? I like the podcast I was talking about recently, finding out that basically for hundreds of years, Russia has been fucking with Ukraine. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Kirsten, I honestly could have done with a bit less character building poverty. Middle class would have been fine. I guess we were working class, lower middle class. I don't fucking know what we were. Dad, ran his own business, and somehow my mother managed to parlay that into keeping 10 kids alive. Fucking miracle. I just wore because I'm the 8th of 10. I had 2 younger brothers, so I wore hand-me-downs my whole life. Not everything. I did have some new clothes, but I would wear a fuckload of hand-me-downs. Well, it was really funny. My oldest brother, I don't know how tall he is now, but he's fucking tiny. Like, I remember finding some stuff to wear in a cupboard when I was in year 7. And I'm little, right? I'm only 5'8" now. So in year 7, I was one of the shortest boys, right? Not the absolute shortest, but, one of the shortest boys in year 7. And I found some stuff to wear in the cupboard. And Mum says, oh, it's nice that fits you. Like, your brother wore that to his year 10 formal. And I'm like, you're joking. He was this size when he was 4 years older than me? Jesus. So yeah, my oldest brother is fucking tiny. Don't know what that's about. So after you went from poor to middle class in Australia, that's fair. Charles, the joys of having older cousins, hand-me-downs, kept you smiling as fuck through. You know what I would occasionally find? Shoes. Shoes that my older brother wore. And so I'm going to high school in the early 80s, and I would find shoes in the back of the cupboard that my older brother had worn 10 years previously. So they were peak fucking 70s shoes. And I'd go, check these out. These are cool. And they would have massive soles on them, which is also possibly a product of him being a short ass. But so, yeah, in the early 80s, I was wearing these shoes that were fucking peak early 70s. I guess I just found them, and it's with these, because he only wore them to formal events, and I would just wear them every day. They'd been sitting in the back of the cupboard for 10 years, and it was a source of incredible mirth to my friends. They were like, where the fuck did you get those shoes? They went, aren't they awesome? And they went, they're something. They are really something. So I do remember the shoes finding, again, I was in about year 7, and these were things my brother had worn when he was like, I don't know, mid-teenager, like 10 years earlier. Oh, fuck, they were hilarious. Just like huge heels and huge soles, just these big 70s fucking disco boots. Oh my God, they were so good. They were ridiculous. You know, that's just the way it is. I mean, I had, okay, were you really poor waitress? Well, until my mid-teens, I shared one bedroom with 3 brothers. So there were 4 of us. We had 2 double bunks in this one room because we only had a 4-bedroom house. At one point, there were 10 fucking kids in this. Oh, and there was like a spare room that got built on. It was sort of turned into an additional bedroom. So there's a 4 or 5 bedroom house with 10 kids in it. And for some fucking reason, the girls were all getting rooms of their own while there were still 4 of us in a room. But my older brother, as people gradually moved out of the house, my older brother got a room of his own when I was in mid-teen. So then there was only 3 of us in this room. I'm not sure if I think I got, did I get a room of my own? I don't know if I even got a room of my own before I moved out of the house to go to uni. So that was the sort of white trash we were. So it's definitely like working class, lower middle class, however you want to put it. Not a lot of cash. So I don't think we had a color TV till like the 80s. I know my grandmother, who lived across the road, had a color TV years before we did. So we'd go over to her house to watch special shows. Just every now and then we could go over and watch a special show on a color TV with a screen about this big. So for my own room in uni, I did have my own room. First year, I lived with my sister. She had this big fucking terrace house in Bathurst. It was like 2-story, 3-bedroom place, and it was just her and her husband and his son from a previous marriage who was there sometimes. And so I had my own room there for a year, and then I moved into shared houses with uni friends after that. So I went from crowded family house to having my own room. It was a change. It was an absolute change. Much for the better. It's kind of good because I'm a bit wussy. So I had that transition year where I was living at my sister's place rather than sort of completely out of my own. After that transition year, I was more comfortable with moving out. But it was really funny because she worked and she would get up quite early. She would leave for work before I surfaced because I was a uni student. And her husband was house husband. So she'd be gone. I'd come down at some point for breakfast or whatnot, say hello. And then middle of the day, I'd go up to uni or whenever I had a class or whatever. Then it's kind of like my sister would come home while I was at uni. And of course, uni was super social. I'd be hanging out with people often till very late at night. So she'd have gone to bed before I got home. So there were times where she didn't see me for weeks on end because her work life and my uni and social life were completely clashing. So we didn't see each other. But I'd see her husband, so she knew I was still alive. But yeah. Safa, your sister's in a nice share house not far from Caulfield. Oh, nice. I haven't had a share house for 20, how long would it have been? 25 years? Something like that. Till even when I was living with girlfriends prior to that, we were in a shared house. But then I moved to Melbourne with my ex, my kid's mum. That was just us. So that was my first not shared house. Yep, that was probably my first proper not shared house. And that was, I don't know, 25 years ago, something like that. So, yes. Long time since I've been in shared houses, in you don't know the people before you move in. That was always fun, auditioning for shared houses. When you had to move, maybe a friend had a place, or you just blindly answer, flatmate wanted for a place to live. Oh my God. I suppose that makes sense if you occasionally go back to your mum's place. Living alone would get lonely. Yeah. I've never lived completely alone. I've lived with one other person, like, girlfriend. That's the smallest my household has ever been. Actually, no, there was the divorce period where half the time I was living by my own because the kids would be with their mum half the time. So there was a period, and that was a pretty fucked couple of years, in all honesty, of living by myself. I forgot that. Gee, Safa, you brought back bad memories. I hope you're ashamed of yourself. That was weird. I had actually forgotten that. And now I remembered it. And it's all your fault, Safa. I always fidget with my pens. It's a VidCon pen. It's actually a marker more than pen. I hope you don't think I'm really mad at you, Safa. I am just joking. Yeah, Safa, yeah, because husband moved back to Melbourne for a while. Yeah, that sucks. Well, I'm sure you're looking forward to unintentionally spending Valentine's with him. Yeah, Megaleech, I thought I had blocked it out. I wasn't all bad. That was when I used to go on MSN chat all the time, and there were some fun times in that. Yes, but that wasn't my favorite time. I'll say that. That's right, Charles. Trauma is the sustenance of any good douche. Oh, and I told the story of the very bad experience with a bad girlfriend who did absolutely fucking manipulate me at the point when I was at a very low point. And it took me a while to admit, like, oh no, this is really bad. She's bad. She's manipulating me. Oh God, I'm being treated like shit. This is not good. But yes. What do they say about, crazy sex is good, but the trouble is they're still crazy when you're not having sex. It's just guys always say, never stick your dick in crazy, or don't let crazy stick their dick in you. Aidsy and I it's a friend of Aidsy's, a guy I met through Aidsy, who has quite the thing for drama, and he will deliberately get himself involved in what is inevitably going to be an horrifically dramatic situation, because he really gets into it. I'm like, dude, there is something wrong with you. The way you fucking actively seek this shit out, that is not right. That is not a good thing to do. It's bad enough when you get caught in drama, but the way you actively seek it out, not good. So, yes. Yes, don't stick your dick in crazy. Crazy kills your dog and runs over your mailbox. Oh, that's a nice side one, Safa. Crown Casino is funny. For those who missed it, James Packer's Crown Company has been found to be so fucking criminal they shouldn't be allowed to have a casino license that they were all geared up for, which is actually pretty goddamn funny. I bet you're looking forward to seeing Husband, Kirsten. And I'm looking forward to distillery adventures. So we shall see what happens on that front. Yes, it's a big, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen there? It's so weird how I just do not know how Twitch works. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? All right, that's that. Okay. Yep, I absolutely just do not know how Twitch works. That's the thing that I have to admit. So for not coming back to Melbourne anytime soon, I'm glad you came down for our little meetup. It was fun to catch up. Very chill sort of afternoon we had, where I got mildly sunburned because I had not been out and about for a fucking year. So it didn't seem that I'll stay out of the sun, I won't get sunburned. I forgot I am the whitest white guy and I only need about 10 minutes in the sun to start getting fucking burnt. So I should have worn sunscreen. As it was, it's pretty mild. I didn't even peel, so that's good. But my arms were a bit sensitive for a couple of days. So, but you know, I survived, so that's good. Charles, other good Schadenfreude. Failed Rupert Murdoch phylactery and Trump loyalist Lou Dobbs got shit canned by Fox. I did see Lou Dobbs got shit canned. Was it because he'd said something in particular? Because I thought he had reasonably good ratings. So he must have said something that they were worried was going to get him in trouble. Shieldsy, I would fucking die in Queensland. I got heat stroke in Queensland once. I have a sister and brother who live in Brisbane, and a long time ago, I mean like 30 years ago, more than 30. See, I'm just so fucking old. Let's just say a long time ago when I visited my sister and we went, I think we went camping on Stradbroke Island. I think it was Stradbroke Island. I don't think it was Bribie Island. But we went camping and during the day there was no shelter and I got fucking sunstroke and spent the night hallucinating. Oh, that's a good time when you're in a strange environment in the dark and you can't sleep because of how hot you are because you're just burning up with a fever and you're hallucinating. That was a fun fucking night. Hallucinating in a campground on Stradbroke Island. Jesus. Charles, yeah, I know Fox's ratings as a whole are tanking because their viewers are dying because their average viewer age is over 70. And then a bunch of Trump supporters dumped on them and want to go to even more extreme shit like the online ones. Is it One American Network and whatever the other one is? Jesus. Yeah, so it looks like Fox will be in serious trouble in the next couple of years. He couldn't get sponsorship. Was that it? Couldn't get ads on his show? Show was costing Fox money because no one wanted to be associated. Yeah, because there's been some very effective campaigns with people writing to advertisers saying, are you sure you want to be seen to endorse this shit? And a lot that, Charles, you knew exactly who I was talking about. Newsmax. Yes. More extreme than Fox. Yeah, there's been some very effective campaigns in the last couple of years writing to advertisers saying, oh, yeah, this Fox show that your ads run on said this the other day. do you really want to be associated with this? And just about at least 80% of the advertisers went, no, we don't. Okay, the water was a good idea. Hydration. I'll probably have to get up in the middle of the night to take a piss, mind you, but, small price to pay for being adequately hydrated. Because, when talking on a live stream, I almost drink as a nervous habit. It's also partly I need to keep my throat lubricated because I'm talking all the time. And the temptation is to drink alcohol. And because my fritzjes in the first half, I fucking drank in about 20 minutes. And so, like, ideally, my non-alcoholic drink lasts the first hour of the stream. And it didn't tonight. I drank it in about 20 minutes. So as I say, even though this is going to make me have to get up and piss in the middle of the night, it's still good to be hydrated, is all I'm saying. Oh, yes, I saw that, Charles, Newsmax, because everyone's under threat, particularly because they said that stupid shit about the voting machines, and the company behind the voting machines is fucking suing everyone. So I know, Newsmax was like throwing people off air because they were saying this shit, and I'm going, nope, you can't say that. It's not true. Get the fuck off. Oh, I love that. There's close to $10 billion worth of lawsuits against various entities, including Maria Bartiromo and Rudy Giuliani. Yes, Rudy Giuliani is so up shit creek. That's the English, the Dominion. The funny thing is, although the claims made by all these people are completely false, voting machines are still a fucking terrible idea. Because they are susceptible to tampering. They shouldn't be used, particularly not internet-based voting. It's like fucking terrible. It's an abomination. I mean, like, these loons are wrong in this case, but these voting machines should not be used. They are absolutely not trustworthy. So, yes, it would be really fun to see these fuckwits sued into oblivion for their bullshit. Like, really hoping Alex Jones gets destroyed by the Sandy Hook parents, because with someone as disgusting as Alex Jones, you might think it's hard to say what's the most reprehensible thing he's done. But I think what he did to the Sandy Hook parents pretty much qualifies as the most reprehensible thing he's done. Parents who'd gone through pretty much the worst thing imaginable, then had Alex Jones spouting his shit, saying it wasn't real, they're all actors, they didn't realize it was their kid, because he just thought there was no repercussions to anything he said. But his insanity provoked a bunch of really unhinged people to harass a lot of these parents and ruin their lives even further, for which Jones absolutely deserves to be sued into oblivion. And it looks like he's going to be. It looks like he is going to lose hard. And I mean, I think he should face. I think he should face prison myself. He's not going to. But what he did was so heinous, so disgusting. I suppose destroying his ability, taking whatever money he has and destroying his ability to make any more money is going to be pretty hurtful to him. But I hope he goes down. I hope they all do. And again, like Giuliani, how to destroy a legacy. Like, prior to jumping on the Trump train, Giuliani still had this, he's America's mayor. He made us all feel safe at 9/11. He had this sort of elder statesman vibe. And now he's just a fucking lunatic. Like, he is a cut-rate sideshow clown. not even a good clown. He's a very bad clown. I saw a meme online. God knows where it originated, but someone said, "Oh, one of my favorite insults is just to say about someone, who's that clown?" Because that suggests not only are they a clown, but they're not a particularly good or well-known clown, so you don't know their name. I was like, "Yep, that's actually pretty good." Just say, "Who's that clown?" Because they're a clown, but not a good one, so you don't know who they are. But Rudy Giuliani has just ensured that he will be remembered as an absolute fucking dipshit, with the bad hair dye running down the side of his head, having press conferences in front of a gardening center and dildo store. Jesus, it's so embarrassing, particularly the last 12 months. But basically, his whole association with Trump ruined him. But the last 12 months have been spectacularly bad. And yes, Megalich, apparently he didn't even get paid. Like, Trump's refusing to pay him. It's astonishing that someone can fuck up that badly, quite honestly. So, yes, his legacy will be as a pathetic fucking clown. Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. That's all there is to it. But what are you gonna do? You know. So, and the pillow guy is continuing to be unhinged. It's like when almost everyone has given up. Like, Trump's not even, and hasn't it been great that Trump's not in the public discourse? Like, him getting kicked off social media, yes. And the fact that the media are like, well, I think he might be avoiding the media, but Trump not being in the public discourse is so fucking good. Oh my God, it's bizarre how big a relief that is. Always thought it would be a big relief to escape that horrifying concept that was a Trump presidency. Absolute fucking nightmare. But wowzers. It's amazing how good it is that he's not in the public discourse. Oh no, Charles, you tried to watch the Pillow Guys 3 hours, absolute proof. Had to stop after 15 minutes. It's not connected to reality. None of it is connected to reality. And it's like these idiots want you to respond to it. It's kind of, how do I respond? None of it is real. I live in the real world, and what you're doing, what you're saying, has no relationship with the real world. So how do I respond? How do I counteract? Because anytime, I basically unequivocally prove that thing you just said is complete horseshit, you'll just say something even more deranged straight after. And it's just, God damn. It's absolutely freaky, the degree to which these people are detached from reality. And it's so hard to say. Some of them are grifters who are just taking the piss. But with some of us, like, I think you believe that? And that's really scary, because the things you're saying don't make any sense. No sense. It's it's not a case of disagreeing. It's not a case of, there's evidence to support both sides. They keep saying there's evidence for what they're saying, and there's not. There simply is not. It's like, fuck. It's like the QAnon thing is mercifully spiraling down the plug hole. More of them are realizing, not only did we get bummed out that Biden's inauguration happened, but now in the cold light of day, I realize I just swallowed a succession of lies. I kept being promised. That something would happen, and I kept glossing over it when it didn't happen. But it finally got to be too much for some of them. Of course, you have the other weirdos who are doubling down. And like I said, it's really hard to separate who's taking the piss, because there's a whole bunch of people who post QAnon shit who are absolutely taking the piss and are just trying to wind up the impressionable people who believe this shit. But it's impossible to separate that out. How do you tell who's actually unhinged and who's just taking the piss out of the unhinged people? Because it's all just nuts. It's just nuts. Oh, but that's the world we live in. It's nuts. And with that, I'm going to go to bed. It's about that time, 10 o'clock. I really have to go to the toilet. Like I said, hydrated, need to take a piss. And I need to thank you, fine people, for hanging out with me this evening. Hope you all have a good day. I'll probably back tomorrow. Who knows what will happen in this wacky and crazy world by tomorrow night. But we can potentially convene and see what has actually happened. Night, all of you. I hope you all have a good time. Take care. See you another time.